How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now? Any sound? No sound. All right, so still no sound. Let's see. What did I do last time? So what about now, guys? Is there any sound now? Are y'all able to hear me now? Yes, there it goes. There it goes. Got it. Cool. Man, I don't know what. I'm streaming off this new PC, and I've been having just some setting issues for whatever reason. So I do appreciate it, man, for y'all letting me know about the sound, because I would have kept talking and assuming that everybody could hear me and so on. So I do appreciate it, guys. Um, let's see. And we'll get started in a few. There's a few things we're gonna kind of talk about today. I know one key thing that we're gonna do in a few minutes is gonna be the giveaway. So I'm actually doing two giveaways this month. So one is the RAM. That's the first giveaway, and the second giveaway is going to be related to the $50 gift card. So there's a few people asked about the gift card. I got a lot of messages asking, can it be paid through PayPal or and so on, and the answer is yes. So by all means, if you happen to be the winner, PayPal is an option, and then we get you get you your winnings that way for sure. So that's not a problem at all. But yeah, give me about 30 seconds. I'm doing one quick thing real quick, and then we'll get started. Hopefully y'all doing good, man. Hopefully everybody that's joining is doing good on this Friday night. Or at least for me, it's Friday night. I'm not sure what time is it in your time, but it's Friday night for me. Let's see. All right, cool. All right, guys. So how y'all doing? Y'all doing good, man? Everybody's doing good on this Friday night. I'm hoping y'all are. Audio's good, so it sounds like you could hear me. That's good. And yeah, again, so we're gonna be doing a few things. We're gonna be talking about the giveaways. So the giveaways is gonna the way I'm gonna make a video of this later. Those there who are interested from a programmatic standpoint, but I put some code together that ultimately does a random pick for me when it comes to the giveaways. So again, my channel is mainly specifically on like programming, coding, stuff like that. So of course I had to do what I had to do, which is I put a script together that is taking the entries. So all of y'all emailed me, through email that you want to participate in either a gift card raffle or the RAM raffle, right? So ultimately I have two lists, one for RAM, one for gift cards. And the script that I created is going to just randomly go through and pick the winner ultimately on who's winning what item. So again, if you're interested from a programmatic standpoint, I'll probably do a live stream maybe next week and kind of share that code with y'all. So anybody who's interested. But that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do the giveaways. I know some of y'all are interested in the giveaways, so we're going to do that. Appreciate the follow, the likes, all the support. Again, so I've been sharing a lot of my knowledge, helping a lot of guys out, here on YouTube, and that's what I want to do and continue to do, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's kind of what I've been doing. So one of the things that I wanted to also kind of give back is in the form of I have a lot of extra hardware. Again, this must happen to be RAM, but I also wanted to give back. The reason why the gift cards as well is I know for my international followers, it's hard for me to be able to ship like again hardware to you. This is a small package, but there's some hardware that it's bigger. It could be a keyboard, it could be even be maybe a GPU, whatever it is, right? It's too expensive to ship internationally. Like the other financially doesn't really make sense. So that's kind of where I want to do a gift card raffle, and a lot of y'all, kind of provide a little bit of info on the emails of how this money could help out and it will be a big benefit if y'all win and stuff like that. So hopefully those of y'all who need it wins. One of the things that I decided, this kind of last minute, but I kind of decided to do as well is when it comes to the gift card, the $50 gift card, I'm actually going to do 2 of those giveaways, not just 1, but 2. So in reality, I'm doing 3 giveaways. I'm doing the RAM. That's giveaway number 1. The other 2 giveaways are going to be a $50 gift card. So we're going to have 2 winners today for the $50 gift card. Again, guys, I do appreciate, all the love y'all been showing, the follow, the likes, all of that. So, yeah. So what we're going to do first, so also from a programmatic standpoint as well, just kind of want to put that out there. After we finish with the raffles and doing all of that, we're going to be talking about AWS Glue, creating some AWS Glue jobs. And ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to extract some CSV files in S3 bucket, and we're going to load that over to a Redshift database. So again, anybody who's interested from a technical standpoint, we're going to be talking about that as well. But we're going to start off first by going over the giveaways. And then once we finish the giveaways, we're going to do some of the technical stuff, with AWS Glue, Redshift, stuff like that, whoever's interested. So again, guys, thanks for joining the live stream. I appreciate it. Also, one more thing I forgot. So on Fridays, those of you who are new may not be aware. So I'm a tequila guy. I like tequila. That's my drink of choice. I like whiskey as well, but tequila my main drink choice. So on Fridays on my live stream, we talk code, whether it be or AWS code, stuff like that. But I like to drink as well. And that's why some of my live stream is called Drink It with Lou, because that's what I drink. So this is ultimately what I'm drinking today, this tequila. So it's not a new bottle. I actually didn't have time today to go buy a new bottle because I like to taste new tequila as well. Didn't have time, but this is the bottle that I'm going to be drinking today. So again, I'm a tequila guy. That's my drink of choice. So as we start off the raffles, I'm going to have a sip on my tequila as well. So all right, guys, so we're going to start off first with the first raffle is going to be the RAM. So I'm going to start off with the RAM first, and then we'll see who's the winner of the RAM. Whoever the winner of the RAM or the gift cards, either way, I will be emailing you tomorrow afternoon. So whatever, I got your email. Could you email me? So whoever wins, I will be emailing you tomorrow afternoon. And then you can kind of give me your info. So if you happen to win the RAM, you could tell me where you want me to mail it to. If you happen to win the gift card, then you could tell me if you want an Amazon gift card or you prefer PayPal, for example. And that's totally fine. So whoever wins, it'd be expected to get an email from me tomorrow afternoon. So let's get started, guys. So again, I have just so those of you who are aware, who are joining, I'm not picking the winner, right? So I'm not going and picking this person should win. I have and I'll show it real quick. It's still kind of messy, but let me just kind of show it real quick, just so you're aware of it. Let's see. There we go. So I have this script that ultimately it's gonna pick for me the winner. So I need to clean it up, kind of messy, but nevertheless, it's gonna pick the winner. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not necessarily picking the winner. I put a script together that's going to pick the winner for me based on the list of everybody who emailed me. So if you don't get paid, hey, I mean, don't be mad at me. It's the program, not me. So let's get started, guys. And you're gonna see in the message, I have a program where the winner there. So some of y'all provided YouTube names. Some of y'all did not provide a YouTube name, just email. So what I did was, on if you provided your YouTube name, you're gonna see, if you win, you're gonna see your name pop up in the screen. If you provided your email only, what I did is I kind of try to mask the email. So I'm showing part of the email, but I'm masking a few characters because, again, I don't want to like put your email out there either for everybody to see. But hopefully, if you know, there's enough characters that you could see that you could tell if you're the winner or not the winner. So either way, let's get started, guys. I'm gonna do the RAM first. So let's see who's the winner of the RAM. Let me go ahead and run the script, and we'll see it show up on the screen. So the winner of the RAM is, let's see, who is it? What is that? Crazy for. Again, I have it masked because I don't want to show the whole email. But if this is you, if you're on the live stream, I'm not sure you're not. But if this is you, you are the winner of the RAM. So again, hopefully, you know, this person needs some RAM, because if they do, they're getting some RAM. So let me make sure that I'm noting this on my side, because I want to make sure that now I notate this so I can email them tomorrow that they're the winner of the RAM. Cool. So now that I have that set up, so again, whoever crazy for, then of course blank blank. I don't want to like say the whole email, but that's part of the email. If that's you, hey, you're the winner, guy. You're getting some RAM, and be expecting an email from me tomorrow. So, and again, I'm gonna be doing this every month. So just keep in mind, if you don't win, the giveaways that I'm doing is something that I'm gonna be doing every month. So we're in the month of June. As you can tell, this is May giveaway. Well, I'm going to do a giveaway for June as well, and then one for July, and so on and so on. And then, of course, as I get more support, more followers, more subs, and all of that, I'm probably what I'm expecting to do is I'll start including even more giveaways, just so people have better chance of actually winning as well. So again, we have one winner, and that's for the RAM. So now let's do the gift cards. So the gift cards, I would say I got a good amount of entries for gift cards, or for their $50, put it that way, right? So hopefully whoever's watching right now is one of the winners. We'll see. But let's do that, guys. Now we're going to do the gift card raffle. So remember, initially I was only going to give away two raffles, the RAM and one gift card. So because I got a lot of people and that entered in the $50 raffle, and I feel like there's a lot of people that I got messages from that actually could benefit from the $50. I decided to do two $50 raffles, right? So I'm going to do one right now, and then I'm going to do another one. So there are actually going to be two winners tonight for $50. It was only supposed to be one, but I decided last minute to do an extra one, so it's going to be two. So again, hopefully anybody who's watching right now, you're one of the winners. But let's do it, guys. Let me go ahead and run it. And again, I'm not picking. I'm having my script doing the picking for me. So if you don't win, don't be mad at me. It's the computer, not me. All right, guys. So let me go ahead and and run it. Let's see. All right, here we go. Let's see who the winner is. Ooh, let's see what happened. Apologize, guys. Hold on, give me 1 second. The script that I ran right now did not run. So I'm trying to see why. Why didn't it not run? All right, let me see something real quick. Oh, I think I see what happened. Okay, cool. So now let me go ahead and run it again. This should do it. So let's see. Here we go. Boom. There we go. That's the winner. Let me see. Are they here on the live stream or not? I don't. Nope, they're not on the live stream. Not that I could tell. But that's fine. Again, I appreciate those of y'all who are on the live stream. You don't have to be on the live stream. I mean, if you're a winner, you still win by all means. But yeah, no. So let me mark this because I need to make sure to have this available so I can email them tomorrow. Again, guys, if you happen to be the winner, expect a email from me tomorrow afternoon, and you could tell me how you want to receive your $50 winnings. So this is for let's see, $50 winnings. Cool. All right, guys. So we got one more. Again, I was only gonna do 2 giveaways, but we got one more left. Okay. But before we do the last one, let me go ahead and get a taste of my tequila. I don't know about y'all. I don't know if y'all like tequila or not. I'm not a shot drinker type tequila or nothing like that. I like to sip on it. But man, I love me some tequila. And that's what I do on my live streams on Fridays. Fridays we talk code, we talk tech, programming, web services, all that stuff. And of course, I always have me a bottle of tequila to try out, to taste. And yeah. All right, guys. So we have one more giveaway, and this is the last, the final giveaway. Again, another $50 giveaway. So let's see who gets it. Hopefully, again, somebody who's in the live stream gets it. But let's see. All right, guys. I'm about to run the script, and let's see what we get. And the winner is, let's see who wins. David. Let's see, is David on or not? I don't know why I thought I saw David on, but maybe not. Maybe it was somebody else. Nope, I don't think he's on. So David is our winner. For the other $50 giveaway that we had. Yep, there it goes. Okay, and again, guys, I know I got a lot of entries in, and I appreciate y'all joining, submitting your interest in the raffle, which is why I increased it from 1 giveaway to 2 giveaways. Appreciate the support. Appreciate, the love and everything that y'all been showing. I'm going to be doing this every month. So I'm gonna, whenever I release my next video, which will probably be maybe, I don't know, like another 2 weeks from now, it's gonna be the June giveaway. You know, same concept, right? I'm gonna, once I release it, that's when you can start emailing that you want to be part of the raffle, and then I'll be doing again same thing. I'm gonna be giving away some hardware. I'm not sure what hardware I'm gonna give away for the months of June, but I will be doing gift cards as well. And I think for June I'm gonna do two as well, like two $50 winners. So again, keep submitting your entering the raffles, and hopefully y'all win, man. Like I really do. There's some of y'all that I do feel really do need it as well, and hopefully hopefully y'all do win. It could be beneficial. At least that's my hope, anyways. But again, guys, appreciate all the support and everything that y'all been giving. I really do appreciate it, guys. Really do. So now that we got the giveaways, we went through the giveaways. Now we're gonna start talking tech related stuff. And we're gonna be talking AWS web services. We're gonna be talking about how to create a job in AWS Glue to extract data from an S3 bucket, and then ultimately we're going to load that data to a Redshift environment, which is a Redshift database. So let me go ahead and log in to my AWS account, and we'll get started, guys. We'll start going through that, and we'll make some and I will be making a video over this process. I have it on my my to-do list of videos, and that will probably be one of the next videos that I make, which is going to be the ETL process from AWS S3 bucket to Redshift. So that is part of the list of when it comes to videos to make. Again, any of y'all who need help, any of y'all who are like new to programming, want to learn how to program, by all means, you could check my calendar. If you go to my About section, look at my calendar. I do have some slots available for one-on-one. So if you need some, maybe help me, one-on-one sessions, you're more than welcome to find some time, some available time there, and book some time. And then I'll be more than happy to meet with you, at that time, and be able to help you out. Maybe you need to programming. You need to kind of like some guidance, like how to get started. Maybe you're not new. You've been programming, but you're stuck. You're trying to do some kind of task or process, whatever it is, and you need some guidance. Be more than happy to help out. You could email me. Again, with the emails. I would try to help, but it may, it just depends, right, on the time and everything. You may not get a response right away. It may take a day or two or a few days. It just kind of depends. But nevertheless, though, you could book some time if you want, and that's one way to do it for sure. Let's see. So what we're gonna end up doing? Let me go to my S3 bucket real quick. And then I have this SFTP IMLU, which is what I create. Again, so this is part of another video setup, but you're more than welcome to kind of review some of the other videos that kind of talks about this. And then I'm going to go to Apple. So this happens to be one of the folders where we're kind of dropping files. I believe Apple has all the CSV files. I don't need this folder in here, so I'm going to delete this. All right, cool. So at least we know we have a bucket and we have a folder that has the file that we want to process, right? In this case, it's a list of customers. CSV files, we have one for each month. So we're going to be pulling these files in our ETL process to ultimately load to Redshift. So, but you know what? I just thought about it right now. Before we do that, I actually need to create I don't. I just thought about it right now. I don't think I have. So I'm using this a different account. My IMLU AWS account. I don't think I have a Redshift account set up. I just thought about that right now. Damn it. All right. Let me. I have it set up on my production account, but I don't really. I'm trying to not use it for this kind of stuff, just because I could play around with it. So let me go ahead and get this set up real quick. Let me create a cluster, Redshift. Well, you know what? Let me show it. That's fine. I think it's fine for me to show it because this is all for demo purposes. There's not going to be nothing of true value, anyways, like data wise. So let me set this up. So at least if you're not familiar with how to set up a Redshift instance, a cluster, I'll walk through the process. So let's go ahead and create cluster. I'm going to call this, let me just call it like shared prod Redshift RS. That's fine. I'm gonna do the free trial. Again, production means just more from a performance and from that aspect. It's gonna be more set up for that. We're kind of more playing around with it, so I'm gonna do free trial. So maybe I'll get some time of where I don't have to pay. Let's see. So there's only one node, which is this large node, which is fine. I believe you click on production, you have different options. See, you got like extra large and so on. But in free trial, there's one node, which is fine. That's fine. So let me create my admin account. I'm gonna call this a Redshift admin. Right. So I got this guy. Then I'm going to generate a password. So let me generate a password real quick. I don't ever generate passwords myself anymore. I use this software called Keeper Security, pretty much as a password management software, and I always have that do all my password managements. So let me create a new password. This is going to be AWS Redshift shared prod. I don't know why I call it prod. It should not be prod because it's not production. I'm gonna call it shared dev because it's the level bent Redshift or RS. My username, my login name is Redshift admin. Then let me generate a password. Alright, cool. I generated a password now. I save it. Create cluster. Oh, what happened? The parameter master use password is invalid. Oh, it doesn't like special characters. So I need to change my setting now. No special characters. Boom. Now let's try it again. Alright, there it goes. Now it's creating it. Alright, let's give it a minute, guys. So hopefully y'all doing good today. Hopefully the winners today, the two gift card winners, the $50 winners. Again, there was a few people that I got that were assuming that I take their message as face value. They just say they could really use the money, man. Put it that way. Hopefully one of the people that won happens to be them. Alright, so it's still creating. Man, it's getting hot inside of my office. Let me turn down the air. Man, no wonder, man. It was kind of warm. Hey, Python developer, man, I saw your message from earlier. We had a lot of people join in today, mainly because of the giveaway that I was doing today was when I'm gonna do the giveaway. But how's everything going with you, man? How has things been? You been keeping busy? Damn, it's still creating. Hmm. Cool. So now the cluster's done creating. Yeah, all good. Back in Illinois. Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. So our clusters has been created. Preparing for my AWS data analytics certification. AWS is where to be. I would say like having knowledge of AWS, even Azure, right? Azure is a good one to know as well too. I've been getting more and more into Azure. Um, I like so for me when it comes to learning stuff. So let me put it this way. So back whenever I was, working for somebody, a lot of the time you kind of try to learn the skills to either get your foot in the door, or once you got your foot in the door, and maybe what's needed, right? Let's say in your area, in your town, or your city, if there's a lot of um, need for, let's say, AWS, type work, um, unless you're willing to move by all means, but nevertheless, then you kind of focus on that. If it's happened to be Azure, then you focus on Azure, right? In order to get the job, get the foot in the door. For me now, because again I have my own business, I kind of work for myself and I have a small team. When it comes to learning new technologies or keeping up with technologies, I do spend time. By all means, I spend time, every week learning certain things that I'm interested in. But a lot of my learnings, though, I would say, come more from the demand. Like if I work on let's say I work on a new project, and then that new project may require me to focus more on Azure because the client is using some Azure services and they want everything done through Azure or whatever. So that's where I start learning, like, you know, how to do what I know how to do in AWS, but how do I do that in Azure? So that I know the last couple of months I've been spending a lot more time in Azure. Um, but again, it's which is good. It's always good to be diverse, and I do like learning new stuff, so it kind of works out well. Let's see: SharePoint, S3, Redshift, AWS, um, Databricks, Redshift. I believe this we should explore in the future how to connect AWS, Databricks, Redshift, Tableau. Yeah, I think that we could probably do in our maybe next week. I would say for this live stream, we'll get the Redshift environment set up, and once we get to set up, we could do a test of creating an AWS glue job, and then once we do that, we could pretty much try to like, kind of have everything connected, right? Kind of have the job run from Power Automate that would ultimately grab data from SharePoint, load it to an S3 bucket. Then, of course, we have another job that would take those files and load it to Redshift. So let me go ahead and finish creating this setup. query connect to cluster. All right, so here's my cluster that I have. I don't need none of this, so I'm fine with that. Blah blah blah. Okay, so let me go ahead and connect. You know what? I just thought about it. I don't think I. You know what? It's fine. Never mind. It's fine. Either way, again, I'm sharing all of my endpoints, which is, I guess, is fine. Not a big deal. Again, it's all for development, so I'm not too concerned. A lot of this, once we're done, will get deleted regardless. So either way, our cluster has been created. We have our endpoints, and I have credentials. So we're good. So what I'm gonna do now is let's go to where would this be? There it goes, query data. So let's try this V2. I didn't know they had a version 2. Oh man, it looks different. Okay, so that's cool. So see how we have our Redshift database here? So I'm querying it in the browser. In the browser, you'll be able to have access to it by default. So see how we have this database that is called dev, or yeah, dev. And right now there shouldn't be nothing in what's in here. Hey, I didn't put this in here. There's some dummy data or what? Yeah, I did not put this in here. Okay, I wonder if it loaded some dummy data in here just to kind of play around with. Because I did not do this. That's fine. So what I wanted to do here is create a new database. Right? So let me call this database, I'm going to call it staging. Right? Hey Joseph, hey, what's up, man? What's up? What's up? So yeah, we announced the winners, and here's one winner right here, the giveaway. David, let me see who the other winners are. Let's see. I notated the winners. Let me put these on the chat. So the RAM winner, so whoever does come in. What happened here? Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, no wonder. I see what happened. Okay, so now let me go to my. So here's the winner for the RAM, and the winner for the $50 gift card is here's one winner. And then here's the other winner. Oops, damn it. Hold up. Oops, sorry guys. I didn't mean to do that. That was my mistake. But here's the one winner. I don't want to put their email addresses out there. Okay. So let's get back to it. So what was I saying here? So all right. So in when you create a Redshift environment, I like to create different databases for different things. You don't have to. That's just me. So for example, let's say if I'm going to be loading data, um, maybe there may be some pre-processing involved. I'm not sure, right? Depends on your process. But if there is, then ultimately I would recommend create some kind of like staging kind of database where everything will kind of fall in there. Um, my bad. Let me rephrase it. So the database would actually be, I'm gonna call it data warehouse. Let's say it's a data warehouse. So the database will be called data warehouse Redshift admin, which is fine. Create using a data share. Nope. Create database. After I created my data warehouse database, what I would end up doing in here is we're going to see public by default, right? Even if you look at the dev database, there's public. Well, public is kind of the generic schema for Postgres and Redshift. I don't. I use it sometimes, but a lot of the times I like to create my own schema. So this is where I would come in. Let's see. Now I'm gonna create schema. This is where I would create. No, this is not what I want. Not under the database schema. Hit cancel. Database. Create schema. Why is it allocating it directly to that? Oh, duh, I need to change it over here. That's why. Never mind. Duh, I'm in the wrong database. Cool, data warehouse. So this is where I would do something like staging or type the word staging. I'm going to use staging for now. Right, so I'm going to create a schema under my data warehouse database called staging. And let's create schema. I do that because I really don't like it to go under the public schema. I like to kind of have its own schema to be under. So that's kind of the reason why I do it that way. So now that I created a schema, which, you know, right now it would be empty, right? We have no tables, no nothing. Let's see. Hold on. What happened here? Let's see. All right. Okay. Cool. So let's see. If we see we have no tables, no nothing in here. This is gonna be the database that we're gonna be connecting to. Let me make it bigger. I just realized it's kind of small. Which is a data warehouse DWH. Then I created a schema called staging. That's where I want these files to go into. You don't have to do it that way. You could have it go under publics if you like. As you could tell, publics is empty. But if you want to have it go to a specific schema, then create it. I'm doing it through the browser. You could use some kind of tool like the Beaver. Like I use. Do I have that in? What the hell? Table Plus, for example. That's a app that I use as well. So you can use whatever, you know, database management tool you want to use, but you just make sure that it has a either Redshift connection to it or a Postgres. Even though it may not say Redshift, but if it has a Postgres connection, you can use that and it'll work the same way. Okay, cool. So, let's see. All right, so since everything's blank, that's cool. Now that we got that created, what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to go to AWS Glue. So now let's open this up. And now we're going to get started. So I don't think I have anything created in here. Everything should be blank. No tables, no connections, no nothing. So well, let's kind of walk through what some of these are. For example, a connection. Well, we're going to, for one, we need to create a Redshift connection. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call it the same name that we had it over here, which is called shared dev Redshift. The reason why is because we have other instances, clusters. This name is unique, and we shouldn't really overlap with the same cluster name. So again, to keep it separate, I'm creating a connection that's called, it's pretty much the same name. It's going to be a Redshift, Amazon Redshift. Let me hit next. Would be, this is the cluster. Nope. See, where's the database name defaulted to the dev? I don't want to default to dev. So you know what? Now that I think about it, let me go back. So under shared dev Redshift, I'm going to now put what the schema that it's going to be related to, which would be data warehouse. So that's my connection right here. Cluster name, then schema. So now under my connection, then this is under database. I selected my cluster. I'm gonna my database is data warehouse. That's my username, and let me put in my password. So let me go ahead and copy my password and enter that in. And next. Everything's good. Let's hit finish. Done. Awesome. All right, so now that's done. One of the things that I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to create a crawler. So what a crawler does is actually gonna data profile the files in my S3 bucket, and through this process of data profiling, it's going to pretty much build a schema for me of this is what the schema format is. These are the columns, these are the format, data types. It's going to do all of that for me. I could specify it manually. Adding a data crawler kind of speeds up the process. So I'm going to call this the unique name that I'm going to give this is going to be, this relates to the SFTP IAMLU. So I'm going to call this SFTP IAMLU. You got to come up with some kind of unique name. There's a few things that I don't like is if you're going to be using, let's say AWS Glue, for example, and like in my case, I do, we have multiple clients, and that we do, ETL processing for, like, data, whether it be healthcare data that we're doing analysis for, or whether it be transactional data, like order fulfillments, things of that nature. Nevertheless, when you start creating these jobs, if you don't have a good name sequence, like a good naming convention, it starts to get messy. Like, well, which crawler does this belong to? Which client does, So I would recommend try to come up with something to kind of help out with that. So in this case, I'm gonna just call it my bucket name. This relates to a specific client in my bucket, which I called Apple. So let's just say that happens to be my client, Apple. And then we're talking about customer sales in this case. I don't know if we have a bucket, just call Apple. So we could just leave it as is. But if we had like subfolders, which we probably should have, like for staging or something like that, or maybe dealing with different types. Like, you have another folder, one folder for customer data, another folder for sales data, whatever, that you could like specify like customers. So you at least, try to know what it belongs to. Tags, I like using tags when you start working, especially if you, like in my case, I have different crawlers that are for different jobs, for different customers. So that's kind of where I may create a tag called customer, or like we have what's called customer codes that we use internally. So maybe it's called like something like customer code, and it will be whatever my customer code is, right? Let's say my customer happens to be like Apple. I could call it a, what the hell is Apple's code, like stock ticker. But either way, whatever code you have for Apple, right? Maybe I just call it APL, right? That's their code. That just kind of helps out later on. We hit next. Crawler source type, data store, which is data stores. It's fine. Crawl all folders. Yep, that's what I want. That's fine. Hit next. This would be an S3 bucket, which is fine. So that's my mistake. I need to create another connection for my S3 bucket. So whenever you create these connectors, it's not just how to decide when should go for glue or using Lambda to move over. So glue, the purpose of glue is strictly for ETL processing, right? So just kind of let's see, AWS Glue. So this is kind of what's when you look at the what's its main functionality, it's really this data integration. That's the main thing, right? So when it comes to data integration, that again, that kind of consists of your ETLs, extract, transfer, and load, and that's really the main purpose for it. Now, there's stuff when it comes to it that you need to kind of create schemas, then you do your mappings of your job like a UI. But ultimately, what it does, it would generate Python code that that would do those transactions for you. Now, when you look at AWS Lambda, that's slightly different. Like Lambda, you could have to do some ETL process, right? It's not like you can't do it, because you can. Um, oops. Um, but really, what Lambda is, think of Lambda of a serverless service. That's really what it is. It's like a function, right? That function can do an ETL process if that's what you want it to do, but it could also do other stuff. Maybe it could be where you just have some kind of process, like a service that you just want it to run some kind of code. Doesn't have to be data process like ETL. It could be like, hey, I want this I want my code to run that ultimately calls an API, and maybe whatever response I get back from the API, I save that data to an S3 bucket, for example. Like Glue doesn't do that. That's not the purpose of Glue. Glue is more of an integration service. It's what it's designed to do. It's designed to move data from one point A to point B, whether it be S3 to Redshift, database to Redshift, whether it be a Redshift to S3 or Redshift to database, or so on. It's more designed to move data, to integrate data. So that's the big difference of those two services. AWS Lambda, it's a serverless service that you could have to run as a function, right? You just, when you execute that code, it does whatever it is you want it to do. It could be ETL processing if that's what you want it to do, but doesn't have to be that though. It could be other stuff. There you go. Like, here's some examples, right? So Lambda is a serverless, service, and the benefit of having a serverless service is you only pay for what you utilize. So if you're running services, or let's say your code only runs once a day, at midnight for 10 minutes, then you're only going to pay for 10 minutes worth of server use. But again, what AWS Glue the same way. Like, it's AWS Glue is like somewhat like Lambda, where when your job runs, it's only running for that minute or half a minute or whatever it is, and that's all you pay. You don't pay for more or less. You just pay for that execution of the job, and you don't pay for more. So it's not like EC2 instance where as long as it's on, you're gonna be paying nonstop 24/7. Um, the thing with Lambda though, as you could tell, you're able to do all kinds of other, processing triggers to do, in this case, run code that would generate hashtag trends data, right? It's doing different things, web applications as well, where, you could have the API gateway trigger some kind of code to do something, where in this case it's retrieving data back from the database. Um, so just think of it that way. That's from a high level, that's the two big difference. But in your case, you're really, what you're trying to do is do ETL processing, right? You're trying to extract data from files in S3 bucket and load it to Redshift, and that's the reason why I would pick in this case AWS Glue. Now I believe, what was the other service that was out there? What is it called, man? I think you mentioned it. It was like Um, I can't remember what it was. There's another service that they have that does it as well. Um, is it App Runner? No, not App Runner. What was it, man? I don't remember, man. I can't remember. But either way, we'll stick to this one. Ultimately, what we're trying to do, um, AWS Glue is a job for it, and we could set up jobs where it will be very efficient from a cost standpoint, where it's not going to be it's not going to break the bank either, to make it very affordable. So again, I created one connection for my Redshift. I need to create another connection for my S3 bucket. So in this case, I'm going to call it SFTP IAM and this connection is going to be for Apple. And again, it's going to be no, you know what? This is going to be strictly SFTP. I think that's all I need to provide. This would be called just SFTP IAM. This would be, so see how we have like these different, it could be database, document DB, MongoDB, Redshift. Where's my S3 at? Let me go back. Nope, it's connections, add connection. Hold up. I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? So I'll go back to crawler. Crawler. It needed a connection for S3 because I did not have one. But why is it not showing? Let me do add connection. Let me go back to add a crawler real quick. So this was going to be a crawler for SFTP, IAM, Apple, customers. Let's hit next. This is fine. Crawl folders, S3. Oh, my bad. This is optional. That's right. Never mind. There is no connection for this. So now I'm gonna go see where it says include pass. I need to specify the pass. So in this case, SFTP, Google. If there was another folder, maybe it was called customers, then of course I click on that folder. But in this case, I'm gonna click on the Apple folder. You could exclude certain patterns. We're not gonna do that, but if you wanted to exclude some files from there, stuff like that, you can. Add another data store. Nope. So I didn't do this, and I should have done this. This is my fault. But you need to create a service. So like in AWS, let me kind of go to it real quick. This will be a row. If I were to go to the IAMS section, see how we have user, roles, policies. Under roles, there would need to be one called. You got to either create one, or in my case, since I don't have one created, this will create one for me that ultimately has access to being allowed to access S3 and then execute some of the services on here. So the easy way you could do is just have this created for you. So I'm going to just create a name. This will be the AWS Glue service row, and I'm going to call it a job service. Job service. Then I'm going to hit next. What should happen in here, let's see if it did it. If I hit a refresh. There we go. See how it generated this row? This row has access to the Glue service. So if I click on it, we have access to the Glue service, which ultimately has access to S3, Glue, I don't see Redshift, but we'll see if that's an issue or not. Either way, it generated that. So now so you could create a schedule for the crawler. We don't need to do that here. It could be done ad hoc if needed. But this is more so if your formats are changing often and you want to just have that run off schedule. But I'm not going to do that. It's on demand. Hit next. This is what I needed to do. So I need to add a database. I don't have a database created. This is where, in my mind, it gets a little. It could get a little messy, a little confusing if you don't design it properly, like just to manage what is a database and connection and all of that. So connections, think of it as really what they are, right? Like a database connection, a Redshift connection, those kind of connections. That's what those are. So for any connection that you have, you're gonna need to create those in here, so it knows and it has credentials to be able to connect to these other services. So that's what those connections are. Database, though, when you look at database over here, so ultimately, as you create these crawlers or these tables and stuff like that, they ultimately get loaded. So let me rephrase it. Like the crawler, when it runs, it's going to save. The crawler generates a table schema. Well, it needs to, which means it's generating a table. Think of it that way, generating a table. It has no data, just generating a table, which is the schema of your data. Well, that needs to be saved in what they call database. Just think of it as a hierarchy. Like, all right, my database is, if you're gonna have multiple databases, because like in my case, I deal with multiple clients, then I would have multiple databases. Let's say one for each client, potentially. In your case, if it's like one organization, you have to determine just kind of a name to give for your database, or if there's a need to have multiple databases. Maybe you want to have one database for some specific, data sets. Like, for example, one could be for accounting. If you're going to be dealing in processing accounting data, then another one would be for operational, for example, if you're dealing with operational data. But either way, that's kind of where your database. It's where all of your stuff that you run, your jobs, your tables, and all that will kind of go under. In this case, I'm building it more from a sense of like, all right, this belongs to the customer, Apple, right? If it could be any other customer, but I'm just calling this customer Apple. So let's call it Apple. Apple. If you're dealing with dev and prod, I would probably do something like dev. Then of course another one for prod. So if you're testing, one would be for dev prod. I mean the other way if you're gonna be testing dev and prod is probably create another cluster, another service, but in a different region, right? So like I have mine in Oregon. You could do another one which is what in the East Coast somewhere, and that could be your dev environment. There's different ways to do it. It just depends on how you want to do it. In my case, I'm going to call this dev. So like that, I'm using the same region, but I could create two databases, one for development and one for production. Then as you test, then you can move stuff over to production type deal. Let's see. Create. And no prefix. Nope, that's fine. Hit next. Everything looks good. Hit finish. Okay. So if I were to go to my database, we'll see our new database over here. There it goes. If I go to tables, we don't have any tables yet, right? As you could tell. Now if I go to crawler, I'm going to run this crawler. So I'm going to run it. And what's going to happen is I think it takes like 2 minutes. Normally it takes around 2 minutes. It's not because we have a lot of data or nothing like that. The reason why it takes around 2 minutes is it takes about a minute. Every time you run these services, just kind of FYI, it's really what it's doing. It's running serverless, setting up serverless services. I don't know if it's using Lambda to be exactly, but it's running because that's what Lambda is, a serverless service. So when you run it, it spins up the server and then it runs your code, and then once it finishes, it shuts back down. And that's why you don't get charged, so much. You just get charged for whatever you used, right? If it was like a 2-minute job, you get paid, you get charged for a 2 minute job for depends on how much resource it's using. In this case, that's what it does, right? When you run a crawler, it has to spin up an instance, then it runs the process, which is reading the file, creating the schema. And then once all that's done, it will generate a table. See how you can see it's stopping? Because it's stopping the service, right? You got to start the service, do the work. The work product literally takes a few seconds, but starting the service takes more like 40, 50 seconds. It runs this, whatever it needs to do, like the crawler to generate the schema, and then it needs to shut down, which is probably another 30 seconds or whatever, which is why it takes like 2 minutes to run. Because I have done some crawlers where I know I only have like one file in there, and it's a very small file, like 10 rows of data. It still takes like 2 minutes compared to other crawlers that I know has 50 files in there, and some of them have 50,000 lines, other has 100,000, 200,000, and even then it takes just a little bit over 2 minutes. So they take about close to about the same amount of time. So let's see, they're done. It's still shutting down. Still shutting down, man. It's taking a bit longer than what I thought. Well, you know what? I don't need to hit refresh. I think when it's done, I'll see like a little message that would tell me that it's done. So let's give it a minute, or hopefully a few seconds. Man, it's still going. What the hell? Let's see if there's a table in here. There it goes. We got a table in here. See how now we have a table? Um, the table. So the table name happens to be Apple because it happens to be the name of the folder um, that I put it in. Or yeah, I think it's the name of the folder. I think these names are. Can you change the names? I'm not sure if you can or not. But either way, let's take a look at it because it is done. So this is the schema, as you could tell. See, so this is the key. This is one key parameter. Sometimes, every once in a while, it does not apply this, and it's an issue. But most of the time, it does. See where it says skip header line count 1. So what this means is we have a header, and it's saying it's the one of the parameters is to skip it. If it doesn't have this, like let's say the crawler doesn't identify it that way, it's not going to apply this. Then if it doesn't apply it, it's going to be, you're not going to see your column names here. It would just be like column 1, column 2, column 3, and you would have to either manually go and edit the schema or something. Normally what I would do in those cases is I would go ahead and update this, like get this fixed. And you fix that by going to edit table. And then of course under properties, you can see right here, so if this is missing, that's where you would just have to go at the bottom, add it, and type in where the line starts. In some cases, if you have files where maybe the line doesn't start in line 1, it starts in line 5. Again, your crawler may identify it, but it's not perfect either, right? So if it doesn't identify it, you got to make your tweaks in here and make your changes. So we can't identify it. Again, like my delimiters, comma, maybe yours isn't. So, but normally it does pretty good job to identify it most of the time anyways. So it should be fine. Cool. So now that that's done, let's see. Okay, either way. So now that that's done, we have our table that we created. And the reason why we need this table is when we create our job, we got to specify the table that we want data to come from to be able to extract the data from. And the crawler generated this table, which is a schema, right? It has the header name, data types, all of that. So that's kind of the main purpose for that. If you don't want to create a crawler, well, then what that means, you have to create a table manually. Say you could do a manual table, you have to do it that way. So now that we have that configured, the next thing is we're going to create a job. So they have this new what's called AWS Glue Studio. I don't know why I like the legacy version. Just I think because I'm used to it. But let's play around with the new version, right? Which is this guy, which is the new, which is AWS Glue Studio. I need to mess around with it some more anyways because I think the legacy version is pretty sure is going to go away sooner rather than later. So might as well play around with it. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a new job. So there's different ways you create jobs to do different things. You could have a Python script that would run to do something. Again, potentially that's Lambda works for that ultimately, right? But in our case, we're going to let's do a visual with source and target. And we're going to specify our source, which is S3 bucket. And then we're going to specify our target, which is going to be Redshift. Right? So we got source, target, and let's hit create. If we click, so this again, it's kind of more visual. Yeah, you can see it good, I think. So we click on our S3 bucket. See where we have our database? Again, this kind of where it goes back down. If you kind of create that in advance, it makes the setup a bit easier. You already have your schema, has all of that set up. If not, there's some mapping stuff that you would have to do. So when I create my database, you could have multiple tables. In our case, we're dealing with one, table which is called Apple. That's the customer name that we kind of gave it, or I gave it, I guess. So now that we have that set up, I can look at my outbound schema, and you can tell we have all of our information. All of this information exists in that CSV file. We could even do data. I guess data preview doesn't work for whatever reason, but that's fine. Um, okay, cool. Transformation. This is where you could start massaging your data and doing some changes if needed, right? So some of it could be something basic as maybe let's say this is a good example. See how zip code says long? Well, I don't want the zip code to lose the leading zero, because if you make it a number, it's going to lose the leading zero. Like for zip code, where I'm trying to think what state has that, but maybe it's in the East Coast where the zip code starts with the 09452, or whatever. Well, if it's a number, you lose that leading zero. It needs to be string. So this is where I would end up changing this to a string. Yep, it's a string now. Phone number string, everything's fine. You could also drop some columns. Maybe you don't need something. Maybe you don't need phone number too. Right? Whatever column you don't need, you could just say drop. We're going to drop it. We don't need it. So this is like very basic, of course, when it comes to data transferring. You could add additional data transferring nodes, drop fields, drop no fields, drop duplicates, right? So there's different things you could do on here to, you could filter on a specific data set. Let's say if you're dealing with stuff, you could aggregate your files, fill missing files if there's data missing. So there's stuff that you could do. We're not going to go do too much detail in this, but just keep in mind there are some things that you could do from a UI standpoint. There's more that you could do from a scripting standpoint, but from a plain UI, it does give you some features that you could do, right? So by default, we have the apply mapping, and then we can do some very basic data type settings, dropping, so on, right? So our outbound schema, you could tell we don't have phone number number two. We just have phone number one because we dropped it, right? So that's not working. That's fine. But you could add other transformations if needed. Maybe if there's duplicates, you could remove it. Split fields. So just keep that in mind. There's some stuff that you could do here as well. Same thing, like this is a good one where you have a union. You could have two sources, maybe like from two different buckets or whatever, and then you can merge them together ultimately. But that's not what we're doing. We're just taking data from one bucket. We're not really doing any transformation, but something basic, which is we're gonna drop phone number two. Then of course we're gonna get it connected to our Redshift cluster. What if there are two CSV files in S3 bucket A and B, and in Redshift business wants a union of A and union B as final data set? So I don't know if this is what you mean, but let me kind of go back. See how in my bucket over here I have 3 files. So right now in the process run, it's pretty much loading all 3 files into the Redshift environment. So the union is more, for example, if I kind of come back a level, let's say you have data in this folder, and then you have, which is I called it Google because it's a different customer in my example, and then it's Apple. But let's say you have 2 different folders and they happen to have data of same kind of data, right? Customer data, same schema, all of that, same format. But ultimately you want them to get loaded together in the same process. That's where your union comes in. You would have, you would create a union. Where is it? Union. And ultimately it would, your union would take in multiple sources, ultimately combine our rows. I don't know why it's did this because it shouldn't be here. Or distinct rows as well, but in this case it would, if you do all, it just combines the rows. And the UI is kind of funky, man. Like, again, I'm not too big of a fan of it, but I need to play around with it some more. But either way, let me remove this. How do I remove? There it goes. Remove. It would probably have to be something like under here, add transform union. There it goes. See how I have the union twice? Again, I'm gonna remove this. Let me remove it. Transform a union. But again, we would need to include another source, like another S3 bucket, for example. See how we have two S3 buckets? So it would have to be, it would be something like, let's see. If we do this, we do union, union. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I haven't had a need to do this, but I want to play around with it. Node parents. So the union. No, there it goes. I gotta select it from here. So this is where I'll select the other S3 bucket. There we go. That's how you do it. So this is the way it would actually be done. If you had two different buckets, so like this one is for Apple. Let's say this one, we don't have it set up, but let's say it was for the Google folder. That's where you could have both of these buckets get union together. And then ultimately it will get loaded to a Redshift environment or transformation, right? You could union them together, then do some kind of apply mapping, which is what we're doing here. Then from here, it will go to Redshift. So again, that's just an example of if that's what you mean by A and B. That's the way you were kind of union. Join, not union. Gotcha. So the join, yeah. Again, let's take a look at it real quick. Join two sources into one output. So let me just click on this. Probably what I should have done is, let me add another source. So let's say we add another S3 bucket, because we have two different files. Then for transformation, we're going to do join. So you can have inner join, left join. Let's say you're doing left join. The node, I'm going to select the other S3 bucket. So now we're joining these two sources. Again, this one I don't have nothing, but assuming, again, you have to pick your database and your table once you set it up. It's not going to work because I don't have that set up. But let me see. Oops, click on the wrong thing. There it goes, join. So then you could add conditions, select a field from each parent node to join. So from this S bucket, there you go. So I don't have nothing here, but assuming that if you did have a mapping, that's where you would do this equals, let's say, first name. So it'd be like first name equals first name, or you could continue to add more conditions. Maybe it's company name equals company name. And then ultimately that based on those matches, again, I would have to set up another bucket with the tables and everything to test it out. But it is doable though. If that's what you're trying to do, you got to specify what kind of join, which column that you're going to be joining against, right? The conditions. And then ultimately under the output, again, it's not going to show nothing because I don't have this set, but what it should show probably all of the columns for both table sets, like both data sets. Then you could kind of pick what to keep and what not to keep. Ultimately, like what's going to be, if you're going to include data from both files, you can kind of pick what you want to keep. And then that's what would ultimately get after your join. It could either get sent to apply mapping or just go straight to Redshift cluster. So it is doable. So you do have the option to do it. I just don't have it set up. But again, if that's something that y'all need to do, there's options to do it. So, but we're doing S3. We have our applied mapping, which is just very basic transformation. And now let's select our Redshift environment. So if I go to database, oh, I never added it to the database. Damn it. Let me go back. Let me go back to my AWS Glue. Under database, no, let me see. It's under, I have a connection. Let me add database. You know what? I could keep it under the same database. Let me go to connection. Let's edit connection. Let me see. I think this is. Hold on. Let me go back. I think I'm missing something. I actually don't want this. So I wasn't trying to. Let me do something real quick. I'm gonna remove this. Let me add it back. AWS Redshift. Node properties, which is gonna be this is the parent. There you go. So you could do insert or upsert, so it's able to check if it already exists. It doesn't load it again. But here's the thing though, in order to do it this way, there's two ways. I don't like this way. And I'll explain to you why I don't like doing it this way. This way means you gotta have a database set up, and the database has a table set up already with the schema, and then ultimately you're gonna be mapping it to the schema. So if you wanna do it that way, that works. And we could do it real quick to at least show you. But that means what I would have to do here would be under tables, I would have to, even if I could create one manually, I could add it to the same database that I have. This would be called data warehouse staging, because that's the name of the table. It's a staging table. Select the type of source. No, this is not what I wanted. Hold on. So we have our connection. So this is what this again, this AWS Glue Studio. But let me see what's going on here. So if I go back, we have our database. We have our table. This all relates to the S3 bucket. A table can be used as a source or target. Makes sense. Yep. I could do a crawler. There's no need to do a crawler though, but I can't do a crawler if I already had a table connected, like created an S3 bucket. But I don't want to do that. I don't like doing that, especially when I'm dealing with new data. You can do it that way, nothing against it, but I just normally don't try to do that. So either way, if I go to add new table, add table from existing schema, data warehouse, staging, select the type, a source, that's the folder. Create a new glue schema. See, this is not what I wanted here. You know what? Okay, let me go back. So if I go back, we can pick the same schema. You know what? Never mind. This should actually work, I think, because it is the same. This is the schema that I want. So let me hit save. Oops. Call this SFTP. I am blue. Apple. Customer. ETO. Oh, I don't have to say customer. Let me just say ETL. Oh, I forgot about the job details. We're gonna click this row. This is the row that we created, the glue service row. Oh yeah, I need to change. So this, keep in mind, this is where we're about to go. I don't know how intense of a job you're gonna be doing, but this, if you don't do this right, you're gonna be paying a lot for your jobs. So make sure to keep in mind. For one, the language. In my case, it's Python, but it doesn't have to be. It can be Scala as well. You know, so if you want to do things more in the Java type language, then you choose Scala. If not, then leave it on Python. The worker type. So you have generation 1, generation 2. Generation 1, there used to be a what's called standard. They don't offer that no more, not in the Glue Studio. But if you take a look at it, does it tell us here or no? See, it doesn't tell you, which I don't like that. But see where we have the number of what's called workers, number of workers. So think of workers kind of almost the equivalent of CPUs, right? Where the more CPUs you have allocated to your server, of course, the faster it could process whatever it is you're trying to process. So for heavy, intense data sets, if you're processing files that are like, you know, billions of rows, for example, then yeah, you may need a handful of workers. You know, maybe you need 50 or 100 workers, you know, to kind of help out with the process. If you're doing what I consider small files, like 100, 1,000, even like 10, 20, or even 100,000 line rows of data, even a million, dude, that's fine. Even like a million rows of data, go to the lowest number of workers, which is 2. And that means it is going to have lesser CPU power, but it still doesn't take that long. Maybe it takes 2-3 minutes to run, and the cost could be way cheaper than if you were to leave it at the higher scale, like 10, 50, 100, or whatever. You know, then you're paying a lot, dude, a lot per job. So let's put that onto number of retries, timed out. That you can leave that by default. That's fine. This is the Python file name that it generates. I'm going to call it the same name as this. I don't know why I didn't change it, but either way, that's fine. I change it. And so keep this in mind. See how there's a script pass, and it's gonna put everything in there. What I would recommend though, if you go to your S3 bucket, go to the main section. Let's go to create bucket. Oops. Let's go to buckets. So see how I have all these buckets? I will create another bucket, and I will call this something like glue services logs, something like that, right? Glue services logs, create bucket. So now if I go back to our Glue Studio, see where it says all of this, all of the scripts and logs and all that information? I want it to save that into this new bucket that I created. If not, what it's going to do is going to create this bucket for you automatically. I'd rather have one, you know, already created for me. I'm actually surprised it took this. Nobody's using that, I guess. One is fine. Temporary pass. Yep. So I'm gonna, what I need to do here is I'm gonna do the same thing. If I go to my bucket that I just created, I'm gonna create a folder. I'm gonna call it temporary. And ultimately that's where I want everything to go into. So let me go back to this. I'm gonna hit browse. And then it's gonna be this temporary folder. Cool. You could do server-side encryption and all that as well. We're not going to do that in this case, but you can if you want. Everything else we don't need to mess with. I don't need to mess with this. That's fine. So just kind of keep in mind, see where it says Python library path. So any kind of third-party packages that you have, this is kind of where you would specify. You would have an S3 bucket, and you have to put your files in there, and you're going to specify the paths here. And that's kind of where it knows to access these third-party packages that you may have to be able to utilize in your script. Like we're using what's out of the box with AWS, but if you're generating your own script or you're adding, right, like I'll show you in a minute, but if you modify your script to include third-party packages, that's what you got to do as well. So now that we've done that, let's save. It's saving job. It failed. Why did it fail? What happened? Failed to update job. So it created the job. I see everything. Everything seems fine. Yeah, like what the hell happened here? Let's see. Let's look back. Glue service logs. Oh, something with that. What happened here? Did it not like this script name, script file name? I don't see nothing wrong with this. Service logs. Again, I don't see nothing wrong with this either. There you go, that's good. Service logs. Oh, you know what? I think what happened, it doesn't have a backslash for some reason. I wonder if that's the reason. Let me save it. There it goes. That's what it was. I don't know why I did not include it, but either way, it's good now. Okay, so ultimately what this did, the visualization, is really all it did was generate this Python script for you. You could tell it's bringing in system packages, it's bringing in AWS Glue. So you know this is their third-party package that it's including as well. If you need to edit the script, click on edit. Unlocking the job script will convert your job from a visual mode to script mode only. This action cannot be undone. To keep a copy of the visual mode job, clone the job, blah, blah. So what it's saying here is whenever you do your visual using the UI, let me cancel. See how you got your visual section? This is ultimately generating this code. But this code will not necessarily designed to be edited. It was designed, if you're going to make changes, you make changes over here. But let's say you want to make changes because you're going to include third-party packages, your own packages. You want to do some other stuff with it. That's fine. You could do that. But once you hit edit script, your visualization does not work anymore. Think of it that way. You cannot use visualization no more. It's kind of goes out the window. So what I would recommend in those cases would be, especially if you're playing around with it, see if I guess we could try it out real quick. If you're able to clone this job, like have a backup of it, right, or something. There it goes, clone job. So clone job. Oh, never mind. You can't see it. I just thought about it. My face is in the way. So if you go down here in the bottom under action, see clone job. Do that. Have it as a backup if you want to keep the visual, the UI version. And again, that's if you're gonna be modifying the script. Because once you modify the script, you cannot utilize the UI version anymore. Think of it that way. Once script becomes editable, the UI kind of goes out the window. And the reason why it does that is because depending on what you put on here, whatever customization code that you put in here, it may not fit the visualization specs no more. And that's why the visualization kind of goes out the window. I would just recommend doing that until, at least if you realize that, But again, if you make it work with doing scripting it, then it's not a big issue, man. It's kind of straightforward to understand and everything. But now that we have done this, let's run it, guys, and let's see what we get. So you could just run it by hitting run, or you could go back to your jobs, click on the job, and then I'm gonna hit run job. Is it running? I swear I clicked on run job. I don't see nothing happening. Let me go to the monitoring section. Nothing's running, I don't think. Let me go back. I swear I clicked on run job. Okay, there it goes. What happened? Concurrent run exceeded, except concurrent run exceeded from status. Let's go to monitoring. There it goes. So this failed. Oh, because I already had it running. That's why. My bad. I don't know why, man. I swear I clicked run. I didn't see nothing. So it did run, but when I try to run it again, it failed because it's already running. That makes sense. That makes sense. So let's see this running. Still going. So see this DPU hours. That's how you're going to get charged. It'll tell you up here DPU hours. I believe the way you get charged is going to be, where's the pricing at? AWS Glue DPU cost. I think this is, there it goes. I think it's right here. So where is it at? So it's 44 cents per DPU hour. Yep, there it goes. 44 cents per DPU hour. So if I go back to this, see, this is running. Still running. See, right now it says 0.03. So ultimately for one DPU hour, it's 44 cents. So earlier, I think we have the amount of workers was 10. If we would have left it at 10, every time you run the job, your DPU hours probably be something like 2, maybe 3. So it doesn't sound a lot initially. Like, oh, if it's 2 or 3, it will be like, let's say, if it's 2, it'll be 2 times 44 cents. So it'll be 88 cents every time the job runs. Well, if you're running it once a week, that's not a big deal. But if you're running it, like I have had processes, I got processes right now where it's like it was like 10 different jobs running 5 times a day. Then that's where it gets a little bit more pricey. You know, if you're spending 88 cents per run, you're running it 10 times at a given time. So that's 88 cents times 10, which is $8.08. And then you're running it 5 times a day. Well, now it becomes $8 times 5, which is over $40 a month. I mean, a day, my bad. Not a month, a day. Well, then it starts to get a little bit pricey. But that's why I say when you move the workers down to the minimum, which is a capacity of 2, your DPU hours are a lot less. All right, so it failed for some reason. We'll take a look at it to see. But the amount of DPU hours is very little. If you have time, or maybe next time, can you show once data is uploaded in Redshift, users will receive an email for same, I believe. So you're trying to send, I guess, a notification on data. We could play around with that. I don't think I ever done that before, but we could do some research, try to figure out on how to send out notifications. I know. So again, it all depends on how you do things. At least the stuff that I normally do is normally on schedule. So for example, maybe it runs 2 times a day, but it runs at a specific time. It runs at noon, then maybe it runs at 5 p.m., for example. In those cases, you could create some kind of schedule, and then ultimately, but I think you were trying to send an email notification right after the job was loaded successfully. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it. We just got to play around with it to see what are our options, I guess, to do. I normally do stuff like that all the time, but I don't do it in AWS. I do it using like Visual Crones, like the other tool that I use that I showed you, because it just kind of has that all built in to do very easily. But yeah, we could look into see what we could do with AWS to try to accomplish something like that. I know for sure one option would be if I go back to my job, go to this, under scripts. Again, we'll play around with it to see what can we do. Ultimately, there's stuff that probably could be done within the script to like send email notifications. You know, just again, you could do that in Python very easily. But we'll see if there's more like a UI method of doing it without having to like modify the SQL script to do it. I would assume there is. I haven't done it because I really haven't had a need to do it, but I'm willing to guess there is a way to do it anyways. But let's see what happened though, because it's errored out. So let's look at our status, our error pretty much. See if we could tell what happened. So let's look at CloudWatch logs, error logs. Again, I'm not a big fan of the Glue Studio. I know what they're trying to do and I get it. But I feel like I actually have more issues the few times that I have used it compared to the legacy version, which I really don't have too many issues with that. But I do feel the legacy eventually that's what Amazon does. They're gonna take it away eventually, so it's better to get familiar and the in and outs of the new Glue Studio. So let's go ahead and click on this to see what it is. Let me go down. Let's see if I could tell where the error is at. Sometimes you gotta look. They do put the word error like info. Let's see if I could find that. Access denied. There it goes. So we got an access denied request. So why did it get access denied? Um, Let me go look at my job now. If I go to my job details, where is that at? So let me go to my visual, Redshift, node properties. Nope, that's fine. Data target, temporary directory. There it goes. This one. I am row associated with Redshift. Oh, okay. Which one would that be? Maybe this guy. Service row for Redshift. Let me click on this. Let me save. Alright, cool. So now let me run it again. Alright, so now it's running. Let me go to monitor. I wonder if that's what it was. So I do like the monitoring on here. I think it makes it easy, right, to know how many times you had runs, how many were successful, failures. See how we have right now DPU hours? So let me hit refresh. So we have one. I don't know if it's rounding it up to one, but in reality it should only be 0.03. What is this, like 0.12, I guess, DPU hours. So maybe this just got rounded up, but this is really what it is, 0.12 DPU hours. Which again, one DPU hour is 44 cents. If you're processing very heavy data intense, files, big file, millions of rows, or even billions, then you're gonna need more capacity than two. Two is just the minimum. So two is like the cheapest, lowest you could go. You would need more than two. You would need 10, 50, or whatever how the number is. And then of course that gets more expensive for sure. Even at low property, so kind of like whenever we set up some jobs on one of the projects I'm working on, we forgot to change the capacity from 2 to 10. So it stayed at 10. We were having like 10 jobs running multiple times a day. Dude, we were accruing a lot. Like we realized like, damn, why do we, like I looked at my billing and I saw like it wasn't even the end of the month yet. We're still like middle of the month, but I saw that it was like already easy $200-300 more than what I normally pay per month. So I was like, what the hell? Why is it increased? So I started looking into trying to figure out what happened. And then of course I saw that it was related to Glue services. Then that's whenever I digged in, I realized that those jobs that we're running 10, 10 jobs 5 times a day. So we're running it 50 times because the capacity was set at 10. Our DPU every time we ran it, it was like 1 DPU hour or so, maybe 2 for every run. Now, once you're running 50 a day, dude, that's like $50 a day, pretty much, or even a day, which a couple of days end up being a couple $100. So either way, we fixed it, changed it to 2, the lowest capacity, which still runs fast. Like it took like 2 minutes, which was more than enough. Is this the one that I just ran right now? It is, and it failed as well. So let's take a look at it. Job details. No, my bad. Runs. Let's look at error logs. So I want the one that just ran right now, which would be probably this guy right here. Again, access denied. Why am I getting access denied? Launch error. Error downloading from S3 bucket, glue service log, access denied. And next live session, Salesforce, AppFlow, S3 will be awesome. New. So the only issue with that is I don't have access to a Salesforce development account. I did have one. Um, I don't have it no more, and I was trying to get it back, but ultimately, they're trying to charge me for me to give that account back. Let me see what I could do on that, but yeah, I think for that one, that's one thing that's kind of tough about that piece right there is, in order to get a Salesforce development account, you at least it's they used to give it to you for free in ways to play around with it, but I think they're not doing that no more, and they're actually um, charging for that. So error downloading from S3 bucket, glue log. It's almost like having issues with that new bucket that I created for some reason. Um, so let me go back. IM row, job services. Yep. This is fine. I took a look at it. They have the access to S3 buckets, so all of that's fine. Audio not working. How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now? Or can you hear me? Am my audio working or still nothing? Still nothing? Let me create another folder. Let me see. Let me know if you could hear me or not. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like so one thing that I have, in my new PC that I'm using, I have Windows. Can I hear you? Still nothing. Damn, what happened here? Let's see. Let's see if you can hear me now. It's odd because I'm looking at my Streamlabs and I can see my audio moving. Um, you sure everything's good on your side? Like if you're trying to play something on your side. Let me see. Everything seems good on my side. I don't think in my audio. I'm looking at my audio and the lights turning on. I'm looking at my Streamlabs and my audio's moving, so it seems good. You know what? Let me try my side. Let me go to my live stream. Everything seems. Yeah, I actually just checked on my side. I actually just checked on YouTube, and my audio does seem to be working. Make sure that it's not muted on your side. I just checked the stream and I do hear audio. Make sure it's not muted on your end. How about now? Can you hear me? Now there it goes. There it goes. Cool. Cool. All right. So let's see. So it's still running. I don't know why the hell am I getting this access denied. I'm gonna do this for now. I should have done this the first way, but I'm gonna do it the legacy way because I do want to kind of walk through the process and try to get this done. So we have this. I guess it doesn't matter. I thought it was finished already. Did I miss something? Oh, it's still running. What the hell? I thought it was done. Still running. Well, hopefully that's a good thing. Where's my Redshift at? Query data. No, there you go. They had it open already. Okay, so it did fail. That's fine, because what I was going to do anyways was I'm going to delete this job. Delete. I'm going to go back to add job. SFTP, IAM Apple, ETL. So I'm doing the same thing, but I'm doing it the old way, the legacy way. Um, I don't know. I need a. I have had some issues with that. I don't know why, man, but I have, and I don't. I really don't like that. So something is, some kind of row or something is off, but I'll play around with it and see what I can figure out. Um, Add a script that you provided. Add existing scripts. A new script would be authorized by you. Nope. This should be fine. Oh yeah, let me go to security. Under, where's my worker that? Um, they actually made some changes to this. I just realized there's some things that look a little bit different. Like you cannot select your the capacity type, which is kind of odd, but SFTP, IAM Apple ETL. Select my row. This is gonna be Python. Yeah, Python 3. Yeah, they made changes to this, man. This is not how it looked before. Um, Existing script that you provide, a new script that will be authorized by you, but this folder is not created. It used to create it automatically. It's not doing that anymore. There it goes. It did do it. I don't know what the hell was going on. Okay, so my choose connection requirement by this job. These connectors are used to set up access to your data, blah, blah, blah. They made some changes because man, this is not. So this job legacy, I knew it, man. It's different than what it used to be. This looks different. No, there we go. This looks, man. What the hell? Did I click on the ML transformation? SFTP, IAM Apple ETL services, Python. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I think that's what it was. No, that's not right, man. It is Python. It is Spark. I had it wrong. It is Spark, but it's the Python 3 version. That was the issue, man. I don't know why I. Never mind. I had it wrong. That's why it looked different. I knew it looked different. Like, man, something looks off. It doesn't look the same. Okay, there you go. We have our standard. So see on this one, you can select standard of the work type. These are for more memory intense or ML transformations. I like standard for what we're doing. See how we have the number of workers could be defined 299. I don't want that many workers. I do want 2, which is the minimum. Cool. We go to next. So this is going to be our CSV, right? Where pretty much our S3 bucket that we created. If you have many, you got to find the right one. But in this case, it's going to be this guy, Apple. Hit next. We're going to change schema of your source data and create a new target data set. This is what I want. I'm going to do create table in my data target. So what I'm doing here is, we know, like, again, if I look at my Redshift, where is it at? I don't have nothing created. I have no tables created here, nothing, right? There's nothing created in there. What I want to do here is, whenever this job runs, if that table does not exist, it's going to create it for me automatically. I prefer that when I'm doing stuff and I want the system to create it for me. Now, if you have somebody already, like some sort of database person, and they're going to create the table in advance for you, then that's fine. You could do that. You would just have to, again, create a crawler to crawl that table to generate a table, and then you wouldn't have to do this. You would do a use table, and ultimately you will find your table in here to select from. But because I don't have a table created, I want this job to create my table and then load data as well. I'm going to do create table in your data target. Yep, this is fine. And then this is my connection. And then in here, I got to specify my database name, which is data warehouse. Right, this is the database that I'm going to be dealing with, data warehouse. Click next. So as you could tell, this is what we're doing our mapping now. We have our source file and our target files. If, again, kind of going back, if you don't, if you create a schema already in your database in advance and maybe the names are slightly off, then you got to map it yourself. In my case, I'm actually having the job to create the table for me, which is why I'm doing it this way. Let's say, you know how in the example before, I didn't want phone number 2. Well, I could remove it from here. I want to remove phone number 2. So now that's not part of the, it's not going to create it in my table. It's going to exclude it. This is, again, what we're seeing, the legacy version. I like this version more than the other version, but again, I know what they're trying to do with the other version. If, you know, it's still a little, I don't know, a little buggy in my mind. So I think they need to fix it. Hey, Chris. What's up, Chris? How you doing? So now I'm gonna go ahead and let's save this, save the job, and then we're gonna give the ability to edit scripts. So this is new. This was not here before. So they added some new features to this. So as you could tell, it kind of shows us like a visual over here what it is, but ultimately we have our code over here on this side. Why is this not going away? But either way, that's fine. So if we look toward the bottom, so ultimately what it's doing here, it's doing getting our schema from our table schema for our CSV files. It's mapping it, you know, and ultimately to what's going to be a Redshift, you know, environment. If we go toward the bottom, let me move my screen because my face is in the way, so it's kind of hard. I may have to make this a little bit smaller. There it goes. That's a bit better. Let me make it a little bit bigger now. Damn, this won't go away, but that's fine. If I go toward the bottom, oh man, it's cutting off some. I don't know why, man. It was cutting off some of the text. See down here in the bottom. Again, it's kind of hard to see because I'm trying to zoom in, but it's not acting right when I zoom in, which is not good. But there's a section down here. Let me try to, you know what? Let me do this. Let me copy the code. I'm going to put it in my Sublime text. And then this will make it easier to share with you. There you go. So now I could zoom in. Cool. So if you go toward the bottom, and this is the bottom line where it says right dynamic frame. Again, this is where it's connecting to our connection, which is our Redshift connection down here under the catalog. If we keep going to the right, you're going to see connection options. So under connection options, we're going to have our database, which is data warehouse. Then we're going to have our table, which is called DB table, which is called Apple. In here, if by default, if we don't specify, what's going to happen is it's going to load it to the public schema. But if I want to load it to the staging schema, you got to specify. I got to specify the schema name, which is staging.apple. So ultimately, it's going to create a table, then load data in there to the table. That's pretty much it from here. I'm going to copy this, put it back. Then I'm going to save. Where's my save at? Save. And now let's run the job. Yep, run the job. So now that it's running, let's let it do its thing. Now I can go to Glue Studio, go to Monitor, and we should see it running. And next live session, Salesforce will be awesome, and new learning with that force. Again, I don't know what I could do yet with Salesforce. I don't have an environment for Salesforce. Like I had one before, a Salesforce development environment, because I was doing some testing with some APIs a while back. But on the last time that I tried to connect to it, pretty much said that I didn't have access no more, and if I wanted to continue to use their sandbox environment, pretty much had to have to pay. And so I haven't like looked into it after that. I'll see what I could do about trying to get another free account, the sandbox. But yeah, for right now, that one, I need to see first if I could get another, either reactivate the account that I have, or maybe even try to create a new one, a new account. But I know they were trying to charge me the other last time I tried to log in, pretty much saying that in order for me to use it, I would have to subscribe and pretty much pay for their sandbox environment. So again, let me see about that piece. I'm not sure yet about that, because again, without having access to Salesforce, I really can't do much. I do need access to it, but let me play around with it and see what I could do about getting access to Salesforce. Do you have data in OneStream? I do not. I don't have any data for OneStream platform. So what I could do on that, I could look into it to see potentially getting access to OneStream. Um, so if I could, if maybe they have some kind of free trial version or something like that. So if they do, I could look into getting access to OneStream. Um, so I don't, but I gotta see if that's feasible or not. So just kind of let me share my screen. So I'm assuming this is what you're referring to, right? OneStream. Because if you are just looking at it, I don't think they offered. They're probably not going to offer a free version or like even a trial version. It looks like they're one of these companies that they're going to actually make you put a request in for demo. ultimately because they're trying to see if you're gonna buy their product or not. Let me see though. Let me see what I could do. See if they provide with a demo. So I'll fill out a request for see if I could get access to a demo, and if I can, then we'll see what we could do on that piece. Um, so where's our job at? AWS Glue. Legacy job. Did it fail again or what happened? It did fail again. Error. It probably gonna be due with access again, which is if that's the case, I need to see what. I think my row may be missing some kind of access to something, and ultimately that's causing issues. Um, yeah, so let me look into see what's happening. I need to. It doesn't make sense, man. Something there's an error that's occurring. Would it be this? Trying to see what time this. I would have just ran it right now. Glue, refresh, job error failed. Here's the job ID. Error log. Like what the hell? Not even. It's not even in here to find. That's very odd. Let's go to logs. Yeah, that's what's happening, man. I think they're starting to remove some of the features. It seems like because they want everybody to go to Glue Studio. So I think it's fine. Glue Studio. I think what we have is probably fine. I think what's wrong in my case is, um, man, I think it has something to do with my row, and I need to see what kind of what's I need to check out my M row, see what access am I missing, because that's probably what it is. And I'm looking at this row that I have here, job service, and I bet you I may need to add permissions to Redshift. So Redshift read access only, query. Let's do full access for now. I mean, ideally you would probably want to modify that, but for now let's just do full access. So if I add that to that, it's been saved. I could go back to my jobs. Let's click on this. Let's run job. Okay, it's running. That's the only thing I could think of that it's that. So what I'll do, I'll see what I could do about Salesforce, about getting access back to the Salesforce sandbox environment. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get access to it or not. At least, I mean, I'm not trying to pay for it, but let me see what I could do on that piece. If it's cheap, then maybe I could try to get it for a month or something. If it's that kind of subscription based, but let me play around with that to try to get that account back. I think the Salesforce account is going to be probably easier to get back, or compared to the one stream. One stream, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to convince them that I'm trying. Like, I don't think they're gonna give it to me to play around with. I think they're only gonna give me a demo if they feel that I'm serious about trying to buy the products. So I gotta see how that works. If I could get a demo version off of that, and what kind of access do I get with a demo version, or Is it going to be like for 1 or 2 days and that's it? I'm not sure, right? But let me play around first with Salesforce. Let me see if I can try to get that. If I don't have success with that, then we could try one stream and see what I could do there on try to request for a demo. And then once I get the demo, then of course we'll play around with it and see what we could try to figure out. Because I think we saw that in the what service was it from AWS? I know you're the one that mentioned it. I never used it before, but you mentioned it. It was something. Was it app stream? Maybe no. What the hell was it, man? Damn it. Man, I don't recall what it was. AppFlow, that's what it was. AppFlow was that the app that you were mentioning, and I think we saw that. I believe right where there was an option for the apps. There you go. So with one stream on here. See, it's not even on here though. Salesforce is on here, but I don't see one stream on here. Yeah, I don't even see that on here as one of their sources. So I don't think we're gonna be able to connect to that anyways. But we could do Salesforce. Salesforce is in here, so and I think I should be able to try to get that. I'm gonna have more success trying to get that account back. I feel like so. Let me see what I could do about trying to get the Salesforce account back, and then damn it, it failed again. And then we could play around with it and see what are you trying to do for Salesforce? Bring data to an S3 bucket, and yeah, I'm not getting no errors back. It's not logging that information in. Damn it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, man. So let's do this, man. When we next, I'll play around with this some more. They made some changes, man, and I feel like they're trying to push everybody now to Glue Studio. So, but again, and I think I'm having permission issues, so it has to do something with my row. So let me just try to figure that out. But ultimately, this again, once we get this to work, the job, would take data from your S3 bucket and load it to Redshift. So I'll play around with it, and hopefully when my next live stream on Tuesday, we kind of walk through this real quick. I'll take a look about the Salesforce account again. I know I was trying to log in the other time, and pretty much I lost my access, and pretty much I got an email saying, if you want it, you gotta pay, pretty much. So let me take a look at it. Let me see what I could do. I may be able to get another demo with another email account or something. So let me try to do that first. See if I could get like another free trial with another email account. And then of course, if I do, we'll play around with that. We'll use the app flow to connect to Salesforce and ultimately move that data over to an S3 bucket. And but again, for one stream, there is no connection on here, so I don't think we're gonna be able to do that, like use that anyways, because I don't see a connection for that. On Tuesday, can we explore a bit of S3 EMR service? Yeah, we could do that, man. We'll explore a little bit on Tuesday over that, and I think that'll work fine. But all right, guys, man, that's it. I'm gonna call it a night. Man, it's already what um, damn 11:30. Well, no, that's right. Normally it's 2 hours long, so 11:30. So again, guys, man, thanks for joining live stream. Appreciate all of y'all for for following, for again, being part of the live streams and all of that, man. So much appreciation. And we'll be back on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I'll be back on, and we'll do some more stuff.